Well, for sure, the girls are fighting because now that Elon Musk is out of the White House, he can do as much ketamine as he wants. And in fact, he is taking aim at Donald Trump. Um, because remember, the girls were getting along and they were looking like two a happy couple, because I was trying to figure out it was it Elon the girl or was Trump the girl, or were they just two happy males in love? Well, it seems like, you know, after a bunch of things have been circulating with regards to Elon and some of his extracurricular activities, it looks like he has taken aim at his boy.
Does this video prove that Elon Musk was high in front of President Trump? It shows the world's richest man at a dinner party at Mar-a-Lago doing something baffling, balancing a fork and 2 spoons on one finger. That woman next to him watching on is Siobhan Gillis, the mother of 4 of his children. In another video taken that night, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt stops by to chat, but Elon ignores her, captivated by his spoons.
Elon, what the hell are you doing?
It happened in March, but resurfaced on social media after a New York Times article last week claimed Musk juggled drugs and family drama on the campaign trail. He was taking so much ketamine that it was affecting his bladder. This is what drugs do to your brain, goes one snarky reaction to the video. Even the Secret Service looks embarrassed, goes another. Elon is firing back. I'm not on ketamine for blank's sake. I do not take drugs. The New York Times is lying. I tried prescription ketamine a few years ago. It helps with dark periods, but I haven't taken it since.
Now, isn't that a little bit alarming that he says that he took ketamine? It helps with dark periods. So, is it okay to take drugs because it helps with dark periods? I don't know, Elon. That's kind of weird if you ask me. That's even weird, weird, weird. But listen, Elon is going after his girlfriend, Donald Trump.
Elon Musk taking aim at President Trump's big, beautiful bill. It faces a lot of opposition from Republicans in the Senate. Musk posting on X, "I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it." Well, the White House just responded a moment ago in the briefing. Take a listen.
The president already knows where Elon Musk stood on this bill. It doesn't change the president's opinion. This is one big, beautiful bill, and he's sticking to it.
All right, let's bring in Fox Business correspondent Jerry Willis, author of a brand new book out called Lincoln's Lady Spy Master. We're going to talk about it. And Fox Business anchor David Asman. David, we talked about this last week. Yeah. This is hardly like the first time that Trump and Musk have had a spat over policy. So it's unsurprising in that respect. What is surprising, I would argue, is like how openly he is showing his anger.
Well, I would argue that had Trump not spent 4 years already inside the swamp known as Washington, D.C., inside the Beltway, that he probably would have said the same thing about this bill, because a business person who's used to getting things done efficiently could only look at this bill and say it's the most inefficient piece of crap I've ever seen. I mean, it really is a horrible, horrible bill when you think of all that stuff that the politicians shove into it. At the same time, you have to think of what is worse for Republicans. And what would be worse for Republicans is if the tax cuts from 2017 time out and they end up with a tax increase on their watch, which would mean they would lose the midterms, and the Democrats would be totally in charge, or at the very least stop every single thing that Donald Trump wants to do. Ronald Reagan wrote something about deficits in 1984. He said, the problem is not the size of the deficit, it's the size of the government's claim on our economy. And the claim on the economy right now of the deficit is about 6% as a ratio of the deficit to GDP. President Reagan had a deficit about the same, about 6% of the GDP in 1983. By the time he left, after all his tax cuts kicked in, it went down to 3.1% of GDP. It was cut in half. Once you get those tax cuts coming in, the economy starts roaring, and the government becomes less of a factor in our overall economy than the private sector. That's the key.
Jerry, as you know well, one very important external factor in all this is China. We're anticipating a call between President Trump and President Xi this week. Take a listen to Caroline Leavitt in the White House briefing and get your reaction.
This letter was simply to remind these countries that the deadline is approaching and the president expects good deals, and we are on track for that.
What do you hope to see as the next step on the part of President Trump?
Well, what I hope to see as a next step is a coming together of China and the U.S. And I think a lot of people out there are listening to this and they're concerned, they're worried. We were told these negotiations were not going that well. But let me remind people, China's economy is not doing well. We're responsible for 3% of their GDP. Their property industry is in shambles. They're not growing. In fact, prices are going down, which is a sign of a recession or worse. Xi's position is actually declining in China itself. So they are making a good face, but they've got a lot to work on.
David, how can you have an economy that relies on forced labor and slave labor in many instances and still not be doing that well?
Well, the bottom line is that Xi himself, a lot of people that know more about what's happening in China than I do, is on tenterhooks right now. It's a very, very delicate situation, as Jerry was saying. And there were riots in the street when the initial tariffs were put in place. Right now, Donald Trump is Xi's lifeline. I mean, his delay of the implementation of these tariffs is perhaps stopped an actual revolt against Xi from taking place. He's already losing members of the military that were on his side. So he's in desperate straits. They need us a lot more than we need them when you look at the figures. So I think eventually there's going to be something. The problem is that we know that anything they put on paper is going to be a lie, or if it's not a lie, at the very least, they won't honor it. They never have, and they never will.
I could talk to both of you about this literally for the rest of the show, but I want to make sure we get in time to talk about Jerry's new book. It's something I'm personally very excited about. Take a look at this. Here's the cover. Looks beautiful. Lincoln's Lady Spy Master. Jerry, tell us all about it.
So this is the story of a Southern belle who became a Union spy master. She was a society lady, knew everybody in Richmond, Virginia, which was the capital of the Confederacy. And she used her power and her money to steal secrets from people she already knew. If she couldn't steal them, she bribed people. She became the most important spy master in the war, according to historians, more important than any other spy master on the Union side or even on the side of the Confederates. She developed a ring of people from slaves to free blacks, Germans who lived in Richmond, Virginia as trade people, and locals who were Unionists. It wasn't like support for the Confederacy was unanimous.
Amazing story. The ladies were there all along throughout American history. You just had to look for them to tell their stories.
To see the movie.
I know.
This is made for a movie.
To be. I know.
From your lips, David.
Someone call Fox Nation. All right. Thanks, guys, for joining us.
Thank you.
Well, it looks like Donald Trump and his girlfriend is fighting. Of course, the Donald Trump administration never wants to own nothing but tell more lies and more